I'm Alfreya, and today I'll be talking to you about a phenomenon sweeping throughout our homeschool communities: homeschool imposter syndrome. Now, this homeschool imposter syndrome is very sneaky. It can creep up on new educators as well as those with a wealth of experience. So, I'm here to tell you the signs so you can be on the lookout and 7 tips that you can use to conquer homeschool imposter syndrome. First, I'll share my story. I never imagined that I would be a homeschool mom, but a series of events led homeschool to choose me. During my first couple of years homeschooling, I struggled to find my rhythm and felt like a complete failure. How could that be? I mean, I had watched all the tutorial videos, signed up for just about any social media group I can find, and went out of my way to make sure that my homeschool looked just like the private school where I had withdrawn my children. But day after day, I questioned my abilities as an educator. What if my children weren't able to compete academically with their peers? What if the naysayers were right when they said I was out of my league? Would my children be weird and unsocialized like all of the non homeschool parents said? What if I messed my children up somehow? Or even worse, what if someone could pull back the curtains and get a glimpse into our homeschool days? They would quickly see that my family's homeschooled looked nothing like the pretty pictures on the internet. Even though I experienced these thoughts almost daily, my kids were thriving. They had made lots of friends at homeschool groups and activities like sports, dance, and theater. They were scoring exceptionally well on any tests they were given. They had become excellent communicators, capable of experiencing and expressing complete thoughts respectfully and with charisma. And above all, they were having fun while learning. The problem was me. I was suffering from imposter syndrome. It's easy to say that this homeschool imposter syndrome thing is just a made up way to explain feelings of inadequacy, but it's real. In fact, in 1978, psychologists Suzanne Imes and Pauline Clance coined the term imposter syndrome. They, through their research, found that many high achieving female college students experience severe feelings of anxiety. They questioned their abilities to compete in higher education and sometimes even doubted the validity of their college admissions. In addition, these students would sometimes think that someday they would be exposed as not being as smart or capable as they seemed. Caltech University's Student Counseling Center has defined imposter syndrome as a collection of feelings of inadequacy that persist even in the face of information that indicates the opposite is true. It is experienced internally as chronic self doubt and feelings of intellectual fraudulence. Through the years, research has shown imposter syndrome is not a gender specific issue affecting only female college students. Instead, it has impacted most of us at some point in our lives. As a homeschool mom, I recognize these feelings within myself. I hear countless stories of other homeschool educators who too experienced similar feelings, but who never knew that those feelings were valid and that they were not alone. Imposter syndrome is not the same as low self esteem. Contrarily, it often affects people who are go getters and who have high standards. Have you ever heard any of these statements? Sure, my kids can play instruments and they're very intelligent, but something's wrong with me because I can't keep my house neat. It's messy and it doesn't look like the ones I see on Pinterest. Or my kid does do pretty well in sports, but they didn't meet the competitive team. So maybe they're not that great. Or have you ever heard a statement from a parent who doesn't seem to be able to accept a compliment? Here's an example. Your child did really well at the debate, and the parent says, yeah, they did okay. Or here's one more. Have you ever been the person to say, I'm not sure how my child is learning all of these things. I'm not that great of a teacher, and I don't even have an educator's degree. I'm sure you've heard or said one of these statements once or twice, and all of those statements reflect imposter syndrome. So I bet you're wondering, now that I know what imposter syndrome looks like, how in the world can I send it packing if it creeps up in my homeschool space? Here's the good news. I'm going to provide 7 tips to help you conquer homeschool imposter syndrome. Number 1, discover your homeschool why. When challenging days come, having an idea about why you decided to homeschool can put you on track. But I'm sure you've heard that before. Here's the twist. Take some time to discover your home educator why. Why are you the best teacher for your child? Why are the experiences that you provide your scholar far superior to anything else they can experience in any other setting? And why do you believe you provide the optimal environment for your scholar to grow into the person that he or she is created to be? When you discover why you are the best person to educate your child, you will become better equipped to tackle homeschool imposter syndrome if it's bold enough to mess with you. Number 2, set goals for your homeschool. It's challenging to assess what's working and what needs adjustment without a standard in place. Setting goals for your homeschool puts you in the driver's seat. You control the pace and course of your scholar's studies. Another great reason to set goals is that it allows you to experience a sense of accomplishment. Imagine for a moment how it would feel if you had a struggling reader with a goal of reading 3 pages in 3 months. And to your surprise, they surpassed that goal by reading 6 pages in 1 month. Mission accomplished. You were the influence that helped them to surpass that goal. Now you can pat yourself on the back. Setting goals allows you to see that you are doing a phenomenal job, even in the moments when you may not think that you are. Number 3, water your own grass. Now, I know it's so easy to compare your homeschool journey to others, but in reality, comparison is just a trap that will lead you down a path of unfulfillment and discontentment. Other people's homeschool journeys may look similar to yours, but it will never be the same. No two homeschoolers are the same, nor home educators. Your rhythm and your flow simply will not completely sync with anyone else's beat. And that's okay. There's beauty in that. Embrace the things you do well. Guide your children in a way that meets their needs. Celebrate the journeys of others. Learn from them, but try your best to avoid comparing and competing to create someone else's homeschool experience. Instead, work to design a homeschool adventure that you and your scholar will never forget. Grace. No one expects you to know everything all the time. As a homeschool educator, you must extend grace to your scholar and to yourself. A quote by Emily Lay provides a great reminder to us during the moments when we feel the pressure to be or to give or to do more than we're capable of. She says, I will hold myself to a standard of grace, not perfection. Isn't it wonderful to know that your efforts are often more than enough? So learn alongside your children and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Your only requirement in homeschooling is to create an environment that encourages your scholar to develop a love for learning. Number 5, pass the torch. You do not need to homeschool alone. If there are areas where you struggle or could use some backup, please do. Deciding to homeschool does not mean that you must teach every subject. There are people available to help you provide a well-rounded homeschool opportunity for your scholar. Trying to do everything when you're already feeling stretched thin can lead to stress, burnout, and allow homeschool imposter syndrome to sneak up on you. So permit yourself to locate and accept help from others. Number 6, find your people, your squad, your tribe, your group, your crew, whatever you want to call them. Imposter syndrome can creep up when you feel isolated. Having a person or 2 or more to support you along your homeschool journey is a fantastic asset that can reduce or eliminate the entry of homeschool imposter syndrome. It's a bonus if they homeschool too. This person or group can be your source of encouragement, provide a laugh, bounce ideas with you, and be there during times when you need someone to talk to. Number 7, take breaks. Have you ever noticed that you seem to be short fused when you're stressed? Even things that you typically overlook can cause you to blow up. Imposter syndrome can creep in when you're feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes your scholars need a break, and so do you. Taking a small break from homeschooling, even for a day, can help you to regain focus and get back on track. And one of the beautiful things about homeschooling is the flexibility to create a tailor made schedule that works for your family. Imposter syndrome can creep on in when you least expect it. One day you have a routine down and things are going smoothly, and the next day you're doubting yourself and wondering if you have what it takes to be a homeschool educator. But here's the truth, you do. No one could ever love your child the way you can. You are intricately designed to be precisely what your child needs in all areas of their development as a scholar and as a person. Don't allow homeschool imposter syndrome to steal your joy or create an environment of chaos. Instead, always remember that you are a fantastic educator who is in the process of cultivating a phenomenal human being. Remember your why. Set goals. Water your own grass. Show yourself grace. Pass the torch. Find your people and take breaks. If you're willing to do these steps, you can join with me in saying, Imposter syndrome who? Not on my watch. Thank you.